Hello friends, welcome to CrackGate CSE, and in this series of database today we'll be understanding the nested queries. So we are going now with the SQL lectures, and in the SQL lecture our today's topic is nested queries. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe this channel and press the notification icon so that you can get an update whenever I am uploading any such videos. So now let's start with the nested queries. So a nested query. What is a nested query in SQL? A query is written inside a query. If a query is written inside a query, that is known as the nested queries. That means query within query. The result of inner query is used in the execution of outer query. That means the inner query needs to be executed first. After that, that result of inner query will be used in the execution of outer query. So the nested queries are of two types. One is independent nested queries. Another one is correlated nested queries. Independent, as the name suggests, that it is independent. There should be no relation between those two queries, between the first query, inner query, or the outer query. So these are the functions, that is in, not in, any, out. So these are the functions that can be used in the independent nested queries, and exist, non-exist, this is the function that can be used in the correlated nested queries. So let me tell you one thing first. We already know the syntax of the SQL language. So this is the syntax: select attributes from tables where condition, group by some attributes, and in group by we check the having condition. So in group by we check the having condition, then we order by some attributes, either ascending order or in descending order. So first of all, we need to understand that where the nested queries are possible, where we can use the query within this particular query. So this is the outer query where we can use the inner query. So in the place of table and in the place of condition, that means these two conditions and these three tables, in these place the inner queries can be used. So inner queries can be used at these place, and this one is the outer query. We already know that. So how should be the execution? So while executing, we have to make sure that first we are executing the inner query, which is known as the bottom. This is also known as the bottom, and this is also known as the top. So that's why we say that the execution of nested queries is bottom to top. That means the inner queries needs to be executed first, then the outer query. And here in the independent nested queries, these inner queries will be executed only once and the result will be used, while in this correlated nested queries we have to execute the inner query for each respective value of outer query. We will see that in another video. In this video we will be talking about the independent nested queries. So I already told you that these are the functions that we can use in independent nested queries. So let's start with the first function first, which is in. So how we can use the in function in nested queries? So this in is used for membership test. That means if a particular record of the outer query belongs to the inner query, that is known as the membership. If this is the case, it will return that particular value. So see, it is used for membership test x in y. That means if a record of x or a value of x is available in y, y can be a query or y can be a table also. Y can be a table that has been obtained by the inner query. So if the x attribute value is in y attribute, then it will return the value. That means it will check for the equal values. If I am having x value as 10 and the same value is available in y table, then it is known as equijoin. So the in is used for equijoin query. This is what I written over here, that in function is used for equijoin queries. So now let's try to understand this with help of few examples. How? See, I took an example where R and S are two relation with A and B attribute respectively. So how I can write, see, how I can perform the normal join operation. So if I have to select the values of A from R join S, so what is the base condition of join? If there is no condition given for a join, by default in natural join we consider it as a equal. So if I want to perform the join between R and S, let's say I am going with the equal join. So R dot A has to be equals to S dot B. That means the value which is in A also has to be in B. We will project those A values over here. But see, this is a equijoin. So what I told you that in function is used for equijoin queries. That means we can write an equivalent SQL query for this particular relational algebra query using the in operation. So how we can write? See, first of all, what will be the simple query? If I want to just convert it into the SQL query, how I can write? So we know that the relational algebra always gives the distinct value. So we have to select distinct A because relational algebra gives the distinct value. So select distinct A from R comma S because we have to perform the join operation between these two attributes. So I have to apply the join operation in R and S. So I am writing it in from. So select distinct A from R comma S. Now I have to take care of the condition. What is the condition? That R dot A has to be equal to S dot B. That means where I can write it as R dot A is equals to S dot B. So this is a simple query. We are just converting this into the another SQL query. Now what if I want to use in operator to convert this relational algebra query or the equijoin query into the SQL query? So what is the method? See, we have to select A. Pi A means we have to first select A. So I am selecting A from relation R. So I selected a value A from relation R where. So I have to use this in function with where because I am using it in condition where A in because we have to apply condition on A where A in. Now here I will be using the another query that is select B from S. So see here what will be, it will give you the same output as this particular query because we are selecting A from R where A in select B from S. That means if this A is available in the output of this particular subquery, then it will be give you the output. So let's say I am having R value of A as 10, 15, 5 and 30. So this is the R table I am having. Now let me take a S table of B attribute with the values 20, 10, 5, 25. So according to this, if you want to project the A values, what will be the values? R dot A has to be equal to S dot B. So 10 is equal and 5 is equal. So 10 and 5 are the two values. So if you go with this on this also, it will give you the same output as 10 and 5. Now what if we perform this particular query on this database? See, first of all we need to execute the inner query, select B from S. So I am selecting B from S. So these are the B values from S. Now I have to check A, select A from R. Now I have to select A from R. So I selected these 10, 15, 5, 30 from A. Now I have to check whether these A values are in B. So see, 10 is in B, 10 is in 20, no, 10 is in 10, yes. So 10 in this output which is available, 15 is not there, 5 is there, that means 5 can be in answer, 30 cannot be in the answer. So 10 and 5 can be the output of this particular query, right? This is how we can perform the operation on the in query. Similarly, if I have to perform the operation using not in, if instead of in I write here not in, that means a value should not be in this particular section. So here I am having this particular value. If I use not in here, try to execute it, that what will be the values we are getting. So what are the values which are not in BC? 20 is not 15, sorry, 15 is not in B, and 30 is not in B. So if I use not in instead of in, I will be getting the values as 15 and 30. So that's how we can use in and not in a query. Now let's try to understand this with the help of one more example. So I have to retrieve the student ID enrolled course taught by course. So these are two relations I am having. Now let me take some values for them. So I am taking values as S1, S2, course ID as C1, C2, C3. So C1, C2, C3 with course as instructor as Korth and Nawate. So this is the table I am having. Now I have to retrieve the student IDs who enrolled course taught by Korth. So similarly, I can write this particular query, SQL query, by this symbol, this also, where I have to mention that instructor has to be equal to course. So this is one of the simple method. You can write the query by other methods also. There are n number of queries possible for a statement. But now let's try to find out using the in function. So how I can write? First of all, I have to select the distinct student ID. So I am selecting distinct student ID from enroll. So I am using where CID in. So now I am using in. So in the subquery I have to make sure that the instructor is Korth. How I can do that? See, select CID from course table where instructor is equal to Korth. So first of all, that the attribute which we are checking and the attribute which we are extracting or fetching from the inner query has to be same. So you can see that CID and CID is same because we are comparing these same attribute. We have to compare the same attribute. So what this particular table will give, this particular subquery will give, this will give you the output where the course ID is course. So it will give C1 and C2 as the output. Now we are having different student ID and we are having different course ID. Now we have to make sure that these CIDs are equal to the values obtained by the subquery. So this C1 is equal to C1, this C2 is also equal to C2. So what will be the output? Output will be S1 only because we are having distance, so it cannot be repeated. So S1 will be the output. So this way we can find out the output of the query when we are using in or not in operator. Now let's see how any and all functions work. So for any and all functions, see, I am having X output operation any. So if a attribute X has been compared with these Y values and if it has been satisfied for at least one value, if this operation has been satisfied by X for at least one values, then it is satisfying, then it is true for any. Similarly, in the all, the x operation has to be satisfied for all the values in the y, then it will be also. This particular statement returns true if this x satisfies this given operation or comparison with some values of y. Some means at least one value, and here it is true if x satisfied given comparison with every value of y. So here it needs to satisfy the every value. So if it is in every value, then it will be an output, and if it is in at least one value for any, then it will be in output. Now let's try to see how this particular example works. See, same example, I am taking two relations with a and b attribute, and I have to retrieve a values of r which are less than some b values of s. So the simple relational algebra queries can be written as this. So it is equal. So how we can write the equivalent SQL query? So we can write it as select a from r. Now we have to use this with where a has to be less than, because we are talking about the less than, a has to be less than, we are talking about the sum means any, a is less than any, and in this any I can write my subquery, that is select b from s. This one, select b from s. This sum has been converted to any, and this symbol has been used here. So this will be the equivalent query for this particular relational algebra query. So I hope you got an idea that how this any query is working. Now let's try to find out how this all operations work. See, here we have to retrieve a value of r, those are less than every b value of r. So this every gives you a hint that we have to use all over here. So first of all, how I can write the relational algebra queries? So I told you that if we are getting less than every, that means less than every, right? Then I have to convert this less than every is equal to less than every into, if you complement it, it will give you greater than sum. So in relational algebra query, we can write it as project a r subtract sum from the all values, and we will be getting the every, like project a r s, and what will be the condition, that r dot a has to be greater than or equal to s dot b, right? So I already explained you how to convert this statement into relational algebra queries in my previous relational algebra videos. You can just go through them to understand how it is going, because I'm not going to explain you every time, right? You can refer those videos. Now let's try to find out how I can write the equivalent SQL query for them. See, you can easily manage this by writing it as select a from r. Now I have to make sure of this particular thing. How I can write? I have to find out a values of r, those are less than every b value of s. That means where a is less than every means all, and b of s means we have to use a query in which I will be selecting b from s. So this is the query for this particular statement, right? I hope you got it, that how I'm writing. Just go with this statement. See, we have to retrieve a values of r, that means retrieve a from r, those are less than every b. So we have to compare a with b, that means where a is less than, every means all, b of s means this. So this way you can write it out. Now there is one important thing, that see, this in function can be replaced by equal to any function. So this in function is equivalent to equal to any function, and this not in function is equivalent to not equal to all. So this is the symbol used for not equal to all. So if you replace let's try this one. Oh sorry, just let me switch it. So see, here I used in. Instead of in, I can use equal to any. That means instead of writing in, I can write is a equal to any, then I can write this particular query, so it will work the same way. Similarly, for not in, I can use this particular function, so it will give you the same output. So I hope you got an idea how the independent nested queries are working, and in the next video we will be going with the correlated nested queries with some examples. So in the next video also we will be trying to understand both of the things, like SQL queries with the relational algebra queries. So we'll be trying to find out the equivalency between these two queries, because these are the questions that can be frequently asked in GATE. They will either give you a SQL query and they will ask you the equivalent relational algebra query, or they can give you a relational algebra query and they can ask you what is the equivalent SQL query. And there is one more thing, that from these particular functions, that is in, not in, any and all, what kind of question can come, they will give you a particular query and they will ask you that how many records are possible as a output of this query. So practice questions, practice previous year GATE questions, and in case if you are getting any doubt, any problem, if you are not getting the answer, you can do one thing. You can just go to the description of this video, and I am having the links of Facebook page and Facebook group. You can ask your doubt in that particular group, so that your doubt will be solved. So if you found this video useful, like this video, share it with your friends, comment your feedback in the comment section. I will be checking your comment and I will try to improve as per your suggestions. So thank you very much for watching. Keep supporting, keep learning. Have a great day.